So here a video on removing overlap or doing hole sewing. So I was asked to do this because of a previous video posted. So I took the image out of the video for a moment and I created here a few shapes, and now we want to go and make some holes or removing overlap. So for this video I'll go and change this color for a moment, make that a blue, and that way it stands out a little more. So I created a few shapes and they're all on top of each other. As you can see, there you can see it is all sewn underneath, and the same with that one, it is also sewn underneath. But now we want to go and remove the overlap, and each one works a little different than the other one. So now I select this eye, and I will go and with a control key and select the head part here in the sewing order, and then click on the select pattern, or right click and select objects, and then go to the home tab, and then we go modify overlap. Now we can go and remove overlap, or we can set hole sewing. So now first we will go and try to set hole sewing, and as you can see now in the sewing order there is a little white spot, so there is nothing there now. And now I'll go and I have to deselect first for a moment, and I'll select the eye, select object. So now I'm trying to move this, and as you can see I am moving the head with it. So I'll undo. So now it is back in its original position again, and as you can see it is not grouped or anything. So those two are really connected now. So if I want to make changes there, then I go to the node select and I select the eye. Node select. Now I can go and make the hole bigger. As I am moving the nodes around, as you can see in the sewing order, this hole gets bigger. So that way it automatically makes the adjustment for the hole sewing. As you can see now, that hole is getting bigger and bigger, but I cannot go and move it. So now I'll go all the way back for a moment, and as you can see now that hole is gone again. Now we're back at its original again. As you can see, I'll move it out of the way. You see now the hole is not there anymore. So I'll undo the move, put it back in place. So now what I will do is I will go and select the eye with a control key, select the head, click on the arrow. Now they're both selected, and then we go to the home tab, modify overlap, and now we go and remove overlap. Now you see here is in the sewing order there is right away an extra piece put in there. So now I deselect for a moment, and now I can go and move that eye out of the way, and this hole is there. And now I can, the nodes, I can select this one and select object, and I can go to the node select, and now I can make this hole I can make it as big as I want, or I can go and make it smaller. So now they are as two separate pieces. Yeah, okay, that is the one. Now we'll go to this one. Oh, I want to go and select. So I select that one and control click, select the head again, and make sure that they are selected. Now I go to the home and modify overlap, and now you can see the remove overlap is not highlighted. We can go and do a set hold sewing. So let's try that. And it says invalid pair was selected. And then OK. So now it appears we cannot go and remove the overlap. So most likely there is an issue with one of the nodes. So what we will do is we'll go and select it, and then we go to the node select tool, and we'll zoom in really close, and now we can see all our nodes. And as you can see, there are two nodes right beside each other here, and there's one, and there is one. So now what I will do is I will go and select one. I can move it out of the way for a moment so that we can see it a little better, and I go right click on it, and I'll go and delete it. And now we will go and to the select tool again, and control select the head, and now we will go back to the modify overlap, and now you can see now we can do set hold sewing, and the remove overlap is now highlighted also. So we can go and set hold sewing. As you can see, that is working, because you can see it in the sewing order here also that there are now two white spots in there. And if I select just this one, first deselect, select that one, and select object and set to not sewn region. Now you can see there is a hole. And okay, now I'll do a few steps back. Okay, now that hole is removed. So now I will go and so in that way the remove overlap and the hold sewing, they serve a few different purposes in that way. Our control thing's a little different. It is, in some ways I like it better to use the remove overlap, because then you have more options afterwards. So select object, and then we go to the home, modify overlap, and remove overlap. And there you can see we have right away, we get that extra object added into the sewing order. And then deselect, and now I can go and I can move this, and if I want to have a little bit of an overlap, I can just click that and make a slight adjustment on this object to accommodate, and that will not affect the hole underneath. But if you make the adjustment with hole sewing, then it will also change the hole size. So, and that is the way you just do it with every single object, and then control click, and then we go to the home. Oh, we have to make sure we select both items, and now we can go remove overlap or set a hole sewing. And like I said, I like the remove overlap. And then you can make the necessary adjustments. So then also for creating more objects, what I did here is I'll turn this one off for a moment, and this shape I drew that just straight across on the other one. That way I don't have to create the whole contour. As you can see, that is a lot of overlap. So then what I will do is I'll go and select this one and this one, and then select objects, go home, modify overlap, remove overlap. And there you can see now I'm right on the contour is following exactly the shape of the previous object. And that is the same with this one. That way you don't have to be accurate with your drawing. I'll move it out of the way here a second. So there you can see how much overlap I made in there. You can see the line. And so to adjust that, then I select that one and control select that one, and then the home, and then remove overlap. And now all the overlap is being removed. And if you want to make minor adjustments, then what you can do is go to your point select tool, and now you can go and select either one node, or if you want to have the from there all the way to there, then you can use your shift key, and then you have all the nodes in between are selected. And if you want to give it a touch of an overlap, then you can just go and move all those nodes in one move. If you want to have more curve to them, you can go and right click on your node, and you can change them to a straight, symmetrical, to cusp, or you can delete them. And to cusp, the advantage with a cusp is you can change either side of the handle. So if I go and take this one, for instance, if I go and move this side, you can see also the other side moves. But now I go and convert it to a cusp. Now I can move this handle individually from this handle, and I can make every minor adjustment what I want. So Hope this helps you for removing overlaps and hole sawing. For some of these small items, you have to look at it. Is it really worth it to go and remove the overlap? For small objects, I would quite often go and sew it over top. But then what you want to watch out for is that your stitch direction is in a different angle than the underlying stitch direction. So you can just like that, you can manipulate that by moving the arrow, and if you do not see the arrow, then in your sewing attributes, check, say here, if I'm on auto, there you can see the arrow disappears. If I'm in manual, now the arrow shows up. Also, for small areas like this, it is almost better too, and using the satin stitches or use the manual punch tool. That way you don't get as many penetrations in a small area, so you can create that over there, or you can so that can be done that way, or okay, I'll select that one for a moment and delete that one. Or what you can do is this one as a fill and change that to a satin stitch, but it doesn't give a really nice contour. So what you can do is then go to your node select tool, click on it, and there you can see there is one direction arrow there. Now we can go right click and add direction line, and we can create a second direction line to give that a nicer contour. And that's the same with this one. Oh, it's trying to add a direction. Okay, there we go. So you can change the direction there, change that also to a satin. But in a shape you get only one arrow, and so we'll go and add direction line, and there you have right away a nice satin stitch in a small area. That way you get less penetrations and it'll give a nicer finish. Okay, I think this is kind of all what is needed for the overlap, and have fun digitizing, and I hope it will help you. Okay, thanks for watching.